Hello, and welcome to PaRC Talk. This is Clay with the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club, and you are watching episode 1 of PaRC Talk, and we're going to be coming to you 2 times weekly. And the day of the upload is going to be conducive to the news of the industry. Whenever it seems like a good time for us to make a new video, we are going to do so. So today we have some great topics to hit, some great things to talk about. Now, I do want to mention we greatly encourage you to comment down below in the comment section, whether it be something pertinent to one of the topics we're discussing here today, or for that matter, maybe a topic out of the clear blue. Sometimes those make for the best conversations. So, topic number 1, I want to go ahead, I want to hit Disney. Now, Disney, very, very interesting downfall over the last couple of years. And everybody is aware that the primary income of the Disney Corporation is the theme parks and experiences. So, when money had been allocated uh, for investments into the parks, new capital expenditures, or CapEx, uh, people were excited, investors were excited. Um, but then, the reality hit. A lot of that money was allocated for parks overseas, and really, peanuts, pennies on the dollar, was left to be allocated for domestic parks. So that definitely was not a good look for this current management team to allow that to kind of weasel into the thought process corporately. Um, but it is what it is. You lie in the bed that you make. So let's fast forward to today. The Disney stock prices have been going down relatively steadily, and for good reason. There is gross mismanagement, and we make no beef of saying how we feel about Disney. We feel like it is overpriced and borderline, you know, uh, tourist trap. Dare I say? When I was a kid, Disney used to be a fantastic experience. The reason why people love Disney so much is because, they did one thing better than everybody else. And that one thing was providing an unbelievable experience from top to bottom, from your 5-year-old to your 12-year-old to your adults. And, I got to experience that at all of those different age groups. And um, Disney is not what Disney used to be. I always said that whenever they switched to this reservation system, and I needed to, start planning 2, 3 months in advance, 4, 5, 6 months in advance to be able to attend a Disney park, um, that is when we decided we were no longer going to them. So, that is what it is. But let me know below what you think about what has been going on with Disney. Um, are you one of the people that have had an opportunity to ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure? Is it as bad as everyone else is saying that it is? Being a purist and somebody that absolutely loved Splash Mountain, um, what they did to it is borderline sacrilegious to me. But I do understand that things have to advance, things have to change. You need to move on with the times, and you need to improve the park. Um, but man, I don't know where Disney thought that taking an old ride and destroying its heritage was the proper move, opposed to investing to um, rehab and remodel the current ride and putting in a new attraction, something that is going to help with crowds. But again, who am I? But let's move on to the next topic. Again, let me know below your thoughts of Disney, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, all that fantastic stuff. If Disney's a trigger for you, awesome. Let me know below. If you hate Disney, awesome. Let me know below. Um, it really makes no difference to me because, again, we have bowed out of attending those parks. And really, I can't even tell you the last time that we watched a Disney film or show or anything like that. It just, it seems like the company has kind of lost touch with its consumer. And make no mistake about it, this is not in any way, shape, or form a political statement. We could take another whole episode to talk about the wokeness of the company and how it's, helped drive it down. But I'm not even being political. I'm being a theme park fan here. Um, what they're doing is tragic to a great institution of theme park heritage, and one that's important to a lot of us because for years it was the pinnacle. It was the top of the mountain. And today, I don't know, we don't even have a splash mountain, let alone being at the top of the mountain. So, moving on to one of their biggest competitors. Let's talk Universal for a minute. Now, Universal, obviously, we're aware 2025, this fantastic epic universe is going to grace us with its presence. I'm pretty fired up. How about you? But let's dig a little bit deeper. Are we getting Disney esque? Recently, we just saw this report, and it pretty much breaks down what the third party ticket vendors are seeing as far as the availability to be able to get admission to Epic Universe. And it seems like the only way you're going to be able to get into Epic Universe for possibly the first year, maybe two, is going to be by buying multi-day, multi-park packages. And even in that instance, you're only allowed to take one of those days for Epic Universe. Kind of sounds almost borderline reservation-y, and I really hope that that is not the case. I just feel like that that whole concept is destructive to building a community that loves your park. It is so much more difficult to get people to want to get in the doors when you make it so difficult to be able to have that experience. Um, and you know what? Hey, if this is going to be the best way to mitigate crowds to give people the best experience that you can actually go through that entire park in one day, man, that would be awesome. And I think everybody would be satisfied with the end results. However, I do have to play devil's advocate for just a minute again. I don't think there's any way that you're going to be able to get through and complete that park in one day. Um, it's not called Teensy Tiny Universe. It's called Epic Universe. This is a park that people are going to want to spend time in, and locals are going to want to borderline live in. Um, So, I mean, again, I do understand why they are looking at this initially. But the fact that they have such a formulated plan for third party ticket vendors, this is not going to be a short term concept. Um, if anything, I can see them potentially expanding off of it, which again, I really hope is not the case. So, if anyone from Universal happens to watch this episode, which I truly doubt they will not, please don't go the avenue of reservations. It would really, really kill uh, a lot of the momentum that you guys are carrying into opening this park. But regardless, whether I only get to go there for one day or whether I can go for 2 or 7, I'm gonna I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there as many days as they will let me be there, and I can only imagine that you will be too. And you know, it looks incredible. It looks incredible. I can't wait to get that announcement for opening day. Now, moving on to another park, another new park. Let's talk about the American Heartland. And the American Heartland. This was a twinkle, a dream in a little boy's eye, but it really isn't. People didn't think that this was going to get built. what it is. People didn't think that they would have the funding. You would never get investors to just throw buckets of cash out in the middle of, the heartland, out in the middle of nowhere with corn and, what else? The Ozarks. And I mean, yeah, but they're building it. And here's the crazy part: they didn't need any funding because it's being bankrolled by one dude. And if you're not familiar with this story, there are a couple people that have done some great videos and written some great articles about this, as well over the last couple months, being covered pretty exclusively on Oklahoma City, Tulsa, some Dallas news about the American Heartland that's being built. And, um, this gentleman right here, he's a boss, man. This guy doesn't play around. He opened a couple Pizza Huts originally in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and ironically, we're stationed right near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But yeah, Pittsburgh, Kansas. He opened a Pizza Hut franchise and then ended up owning over 1,000 of these things and sold it back in the mid 2000s. And there was a lawsuit that was involved between him and the state of Kansas over back taxes that were owed. And turns out he was right. And Texas ended up owning like $63 million on top of the fortune that he already collected from selling well over 1,000 Pizza Hut franchises. Let's just say the guy's not hurting for money. I have no doubts that the funding is there for this project as long as he remains the benefactor. And it seems seamless. Right now, it seems that the campground is on schedule to open by the end of this year or early 2025, which borderline means this project could be ahead of schedule. It's crazy to think. But American Heartland is happening, guys. This is real. Um, they have a full scale model, as you see here. We're not talking just animation, we are talking a full scale model of this park. They have brought in some of the most talented Imagineers and people from Universal for park layout, construction, design, creation. They are going all in. 125-acre amusement park. And they're saying it's going to open for 2026. Now, again, many naysayers, but the way that I'm reading this story, get ready, guys. We're going to Tulsa. This is going to be pretty awesome. And the local town there outside of Tulsa, uh, Veneta, I believe it is. And if I'm incorrect, I apologize to locals out there. I don't have my notes in front of me right now. But man, what a boom for that area, for the greater Tulsa region, um, just in general. It would create so many jobs, not just for the construction of the park, but for everyday operations, maintenance, and security. Um, what he's doing right now in that area, um, it is a lot more intelligent than people realize. You have Universal that is going into Texas right now, Disney that has never entered the market, and right now the way that the taxes are structured in Texas, man, it is so beneficial to do business down there. And guess what? Oklahoma, they see it. They see what's happening in Texas, and now they're opening the door, and they are offering the proper tax breaks, the proper incentives to get this project done. And I'm going to say it one more time, guys. This is happening. All right, now moving on, we're going to go to Frontier City. Some really interesting developments coming out of Frontier City. And now, I will say, I will have this discussion with bated breath. Um, I have been hearing rumblings from three different sources at this point that Frontier City is going to be adding a ride package. I have heard from two of those three sources that 2025 is going to bring S&S Sansei into Frontier City. Now, one of the rumors that I've heard is that they are getting a flat ride package only. And at first, I was reticent to believe that, to be honest. But the more that I think about it, I guess it is possible. However, the big news is two of those three have heard the same story that Frontier City is going to be getting two rides from S&S Sansei, one of which a drop tower, the other a new roller coaster. And this kind of opens up to some speculation. The most popular answer that I am getting back as I'm prodding and questioning and reaching out to the people that I speak to on a regular basis within the industry. The most popular answer that I'm getting is if they are getting a roller coaster and it is S&S Sansei, you can almost bet it's going to be a 4D free spin. That would be disappointing to me. That would be disappointing to me. I feel as though Cedar Fair is going to do their best to move away from clone rides. I think they're going to do their best to stay away from making it a dime a dozen stop an attraction. So, what from S&S Sansei could they possibly put in that would separate them from the pack a little bit? Well, I mean, the first thing that pops up obviously is this here Access Coaster, for instance. But I think we need to pump the brakes on that. That is not going to be in the cards for a Park Lake Frontier City. At least I don't believe so. Now, what else could this park use? Something compact, something relatively small. And if you're going with S&S, why not look at one of these? The Screaming Squirrel is it's a pretty cool ride, and there are a couple different layouts that potentially they could pick from. But ultimately, I think it fits the mold as a ride that is not an overly used clone within the chain. And at the same time, it gives you a unique ride that's going to bring in locals because there aren't that many around. I would believe that the closest Screaming Squirrel would probably be Las Vegas, which, I mean, I don't see people hopping on a plane just to go and ride one S&S Sansei at Adventure Dome. So, what do you think? Is it going to be an S&S Sansei drop tower and a 4D free spin? Or is Frontier City actually going to pull the smart move? Are they going to pull the educated move? And are they going to install a Screaming Squirrel? We'll see what happens, but I know the direction that I would head if I were in charge. But what does that mean? Nothing. Because we're just the consumer. We just foot the bill. Yeah, hey, add another 40 free spin. Who cares, right? Moving on though. Let's get to our next park. We talked American Heartland. We talked Frontier City. Now, move on to a pretty important topic. Let's move on to Six Flags Mexico. And something to think about Six Flags Mexico is, they're a park that initially I didn't think was going to get a tremendous amount of CapEx allocated to it. And I thought that they may wait another 3 to 4 years until they saw another roller coaster, giving them that 8 to 9 year window. Turns out, yeah, I was completely wrong. And I'm okay to admit that. It happens probably more often than I would like to admit, but, no risk it, no biscuit. So, we always speak our mind, at least at this channel. We're going to give you our honest opinion, our take. I'm going to tell you what I hear. I'm going to tell you what I believe, what I don't believe. And we're going to see if we can try to make sense of some of this stuff. But there are some pictures, as you can see here, of what appears to be red Vekoma track. Now, the tilt coaster that was intended for Energylandia, supposedly that track was painted red, which is leading to wide speculation. And I do believe, with a great deal of certainty, that that is in fact the Energylandia tilt coaster, and it is going to be installed for the 2025 season for Six Flags Mexico. Super exciting news on that front. Now, I do want to briefly talk Hyperia and Top Thrill 2 as well. Give very brief updates. Hyperia is running. Top Thrill 2 isn't. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And I don't necessarily think that news is going to change. Obviously, we're going to give a very quick Top Thrill 2 update in each and every episode until it opens and we get some consistent operations. Finally, our last topic of the day. I saved the best for last. And if you're a Six Flags St. Louis fan, well, I may have some good news for you. I have heard some rumblings in the last 3 months from employees, not just of the chain, but of some other social media folks. I've been hearing some solid rumblings that there are a great deal of internal conversations taking place right now about what the future of the boss at Six Flags St. Louis holds. And if you're waiting for me to tell you that I am hearing that they are getting the RMC treatment, you're going to be very disappointed. That's not going to happen. From what I'm hearing, the RMC treatment is essentially being ruled out for the boss. I haven't gotten a clear answer or a clear feeling on my question, which was, do you believe that this is not going to happen because of the bad relationship or because of the prohibitive cost and reliability? I can't get an answer on that. I wish I could. I wish I could get an answer and be able to share that with you. But again, I can't. But alas, there is good news. Because I am hearing that there is a very high likelihood that this off season, the Gravity Group will be coming in to begin working areas with prefab, pre-cut track. From what I'm hearing, over the next couple of years, it will be a full retrack. And within the next 3, we may see a 100% replaceable track on the boss. That is what I'm hearing. It makes sense. The people that I'm hearing it from, I trust. They don't lead me astray too often. And again, it makes sense. After the merger, let's take a look. You know, I'm a huge fan of forensic accounting. To go back and research and try to figure out what these parks are going to do, where they're going to spend their money. Any type of sales business is very relationship based. So if you establish a good relationship with somebody on one project, more likely than not, you have an excellent chance to resell them a second project, or at least you're going to be in that final running as long as you weren't a chooch and botched the first project, or the sales process of the first project. So as long as everybody's happy and you did your job, you should have an opportunity for repeat business. So, boom, merger happens. And what has been going on at all of these parks? I mean, let's take a look. They installed the very first Gravity Group family roller coaster that is assembled 100% of prefab track. So that goes to a Six Flags park. Then let's look at the racer at Kings Island and the racer at Kings Dominion. Both Gravity Group pre-cut retrack. Then let's take a look at Grizzly at Kings Dominion. Gravity Group pre-cut retrack. The investment is there. The money is there to do whatever they believe is going to be best long-term for the ride. But the impression that I'm receiving is they believe that the prefab track is probably the best way to go. And I'm thrilled with that idea. I happen to love the boss. There are two sets of people in this world. There are people that hate the boss, and there are people that love the boss. I more to the side of loving it. I think it has a really cool and unique layout. I love the length. I wish they wouldn't have removed the end helix. But hey, to each their own. They had to do what they had to do to take care of the ride. But let's be very, very clear. If the boss gets a retrack with Gravity Group prefab precut, it is going to skyrocket up the list of wooden roller coasters. And I think in today's day and age, where RMC has gone through and done so many amazing rides based off of these wooden coasters, it's kind of refreshing to see and hear that they want to preserve that heritage, that they want to preserve the ride quality that people were initially blown away with on day one when that ride opened. So let's keep our fingers crossed, guys. Obviously, nothing is etched in stone, and genuinely, what I just shared with you is hearsay. But again, it's hearsay that has kind of been corroborated by a few people, independent of one another, and it makes a whole bunch of sense. So I feel very comfortable sharing it with you that at a bare minimum, it is very high on the talking point list for the executives of the new chain, as well as the management at Six Flags St. Louis, who, by the way, is excellent. And I know for a fact that the management at that park has wanted to do something with the boss for years, but they were handcuffed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the handcuffs could very well be off. Well, this has been an absolute blast, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm hoping for episode 2 that we are going to have a special guest to be able to share 5 to 10 minutes with me, either through a video call or through a phone call. And you know what? As long as we get some interaction and we get talking, that's so important. Regardless of our differences in life, let's talk about the things that we love and appreciate. And that's roller coasters, that's theme parks, amusement parks, and everything that's associated with it. Again, I enjoyed my time here today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up episode 1. So until next time, guys, this is Clay from the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club. We'll see you out there.